My today guest is Emmanuel Chilaud, who's been living and working in Czech Republic for many years. Emmanuel, if I'm not mistaken, I count somewhere 18 years. Is it correct?
That's already 20, actually.
Oh my God, it's super long time. So I guess you've been more, as you said already, you've been more Czech already or Ostravak. Okay, so you've been working as a senior director in sweet company, biscuit production or manufacturing and Mondelez International.
Yes.
And you are responsible for factories in Opava, Mariánské Lázně, and Lovosice. Right?
Exact.
Yeah, super. We know all the brands. I guess all of us. I mean, Czech. We know the brands very well, like s.r.o, Milka, Opavia. These biscuits are part of our childhood. every single Czech, I'm sure, has snack like
Fidorky.
Yeah, yes.
Bebečka. Yes.
Yes, exactly. So, and because I've been getting a lot of inputs, and I read many articles about you and your working approach also. I've been very much interested, and I'm actually thankful for the opportunity to meet you and speak about your experience with you, because I think you have a quite unique perspective on what means to lead a team in the manufacturing. It's also like special discipline. And on top of that, because you are really not Czech native, you are from France. So that's why we are here together to get a little bit insights from your side and to get a bit more details about your beginnings and more, and also later about your experience here in the Czech Republic. So my first question is that, so you've been already nearly 19 years, 18, 19 years. So if you were sitting now next to newly arrived foreigner, newly arrived CEO instead of me, who will be now in the new role in new country, sometimes the country is completely different from the country where he is from. What would be the very first piece of advice which you would give them?
That's a good question. I need to remember now how it was for me 20 years ago. The first piece of advice, I would say, I would start by don't give up. Like the first period might be a bit difficult. You will need, depending on which culture you're coming from, but you will probably need some time of adaptation. It can be for you, it can be for your family.
Yeah.
It can be for you at work also. Like the Czech culture might be different than the culture where you are from, in terms of management, in terms of the employees, the way they are solving the things. And it can be also for your family, some challenges. But it really makes sense. So, for me, when I see how it is today, how are my kids, how they are now like trilingual because they speak French and Czech and English perfectly, but also how they can be open on cultures. And so for me, on that side, it's really an experience which I would not regret at all in my life. And I'm really happy that I could make this move to Czechia. And in terms of work, it's taking a bit of time. It might take a few months to understand, to get also in the teams. But I think it's something which it has an added value. I mean, this exchange of cultures, this cooperation between different people creates even more creativity or brings more human dimension, I would say, in our work. So I really recommend it.
Tell me, you mentioned that it can take a couple of months. Well, now, after so many years, can you say how long does it took to you, just roughly? When was the first moment when you felt like confident, or you felt like you are part of it? How long does it?
So for me, it was a bit special because I have to say, I moved to Czech to a Chinese company.
That was the project on the big one.
Yeah. So I was like moving production from France to Czechia, but at the same time, it was moving from our own production to subcontracted production. So I came with my team of I've chosen my 3 best managers, took our families, came here. But we were working in Czechia with Czech operators, Czech middle managers, but the top management of that company, our subcontractor, was made only of Chinese and Taiwanese people, right? So for us, it was like, and adapting to the Chinese management and business, and which was not an easy one. Yeah. And adapting also to the Czech people. And it ended up that for some period, we've been even more managing the Czech people and leaving the Chinese people in their offices and meeting rooms. And we've been that way able to develop the company or develop their capacities of production. And then we have handed over to them. How long it took? I would say the 6 first months have been difficult. And they've been difficult because of that dual level of management. Like we were officially managing the Chinese, we were managing the Czech people, and this didn't work. When we understood how to organize ourselves with the Czech team and the Czech middle management, and also when we felt, honestly, when the spring came, like the winter was difficult. Oh, yeah. Also because of the winter conditions. I mean, that winter, I don't know if you remember the 2005 winter in Czech, but that was Ladovská zima, as we call it now, which is, it's been very difficult. I mean, minus 20s, and for 4 months, we could not really go out. But when came the spring, for us, it was not only the spring, like, outside, but it's also the spring when we started to meet people. People invited us to their cottage, in the weekend, and we are grilling sausages with, process engineers and the people from the quality team, and at once we started to have really like human relationships with the people, and everything started to change, right? And that was also after a few months the end of the project, so we went back to France, but we felt that at that time there is really a very human dimension in our work, but also in the relationship that we are creating. And that's why also then a few months later, I came back, but in a different job. And I came back also to s.r.o and Czechia.
Well, speaking about the winter, I have a working experience. I've been working for a Japanese company for some Asian companies. And I have to say that also I remember for the Japanese management in that time, was a really difficult period of time, the winter, especially if it was the first winter. Yeah, I would never, if I don't have this experience, I would never say that, how the weather around can have such a impact. They really hate the Czech Republic, many other things, but also because of the weather. Yeah, that was really super difficult part of the year for them. And as you said, once the spring came, it started to be slightly better, but it was really difficult time.
I mean, honestly, we don't have anymore the winters that we had 20 years ago. So I'm here 20 years. I've not seen such a winter anymore.
That is true.
But I would say all over the world, in the winter, you less go out, right? You've got less activities with the kids outside, so you meet less of other parents. When the spring comes, you start to go outside, you start to have activities at school, you start to have activities in the area where you're living. It can be in the streets, it can be sport, it can be, cultural things. And I think the spring is a moment which is very important. So winter, the first winter is not the easiest one because you don't have the opportunity to meet people, less at work, but even less on your personal life and eventually for the spouse or the kids. So be careful with the first winter would be also something which I would recommend, but don't give up. It makes sense.
You
it's
mentioned
worth
that
it.
you relocate together with your family.
Mhm.
Well, I would say that the families are quite important part of the whole relocation.
Mhm.
And if we are doing relocation of the managers, we are talking about like the visa things and about we are finding the flats and all this stuff.
Mhm.
But the part of like the personal life, the part of the family, kids, partners, are super important part of whole relocation. And I already saw many times that the whole relocation did not happen or hasn't been finished,
Mhm.
or the expat resigned after some time because the family did not really manage
Mhm.
to adapt, or they did not feel really well in their city where they been living newly, or generally in the Czech culture.
Mhm.
Um, how did you handle this part of the whole relocation? I mean, the one part connected with work, uh, from my perspective, seems to be a little bit easier
Mhm.
because it's a new challenge. The manager is full of energy and want to to meet the goals, and is also in the some team. So that's one part. But the other part, the family, how did you handle that?
Yeah, I would say on the managerial part, on the professional part, it's easier also because we come as managers and we are used to usually manage teams. It can be different team. Okay, we will manage. We are used to solve problems, so we'll solve the problem and we'll take that very professionally. Takes time, yes, but we take it professionally, and that's our job. Or at least it was my job to manage those issues. Then on the family part, first of all, don't worry for the kids. The kids will adapt. All right. So it depends on the age, but usually, if you come with kids which are between, I would say 0 and 12, 14, or, you come before, puberta, how we say puberta, I don't remember in English now.
Teenage
Yeah,
age.
teenage,
Yeah.
exactly. If you come with kids like that, I mean, they will adapt. For mine, it took time because, they came as French in a Czech environment, in an English school. So, they didn't know which language for the first months, and nobody could speak to them in their language. But, it takes between 1 month and 4 months
Yes, that's true.
to really adapt. And then they start to speak and you say, my God, they speak English better than me and what's there.
Yes, you're right.
So that's completely crazy. So don't worry for the kids. I mean, take care of them for the first months. I mean, we had some tears, and but don't worry for that. I mean, that will pass this period, and then it will be really great. For the partner, I would say if the partner is not working, that's a risk, and that's a risk which is manageable, but that's a risk, and you need to think really about that and understand what will be the life of that person. The best is if you can have, I don't know, for example, in Ostrava now, we didn't have 10, 20 years ago, but now there is an Ostrava expat center. So the partners also of the expats can have a lot of activities together, and then they are meeting and creating some networking. There are also, I don't know, local associations which could help. I think it's very important also to create a network around the school, and very often, between the kids, you meet the other parents, and but there is a risk, because there is a risk of one person, the partner, who was maybe working and is stopping to work because of the language, or because it's difficult for foreigners to find a job. Now also, I would say, with more digitalization and more home offices, there might be some partners also who can keep a job which is distant, which can be for their original country, or more in corporate companies. Think about that, because having a partner who is staying at home, doesn't understand the language, doesn't speak English, doesn't have any activities, at the end, they feel like, I'm only the taxi driver of the kids to school and back to school, and nothing else. And that's not a life which is something that you can survive for long. So I think it's very important to find a right balance, an activity, which is corresponding to that person. And each and every person will have a different wish. Some will want to work, some will want to enjoy, some will want to make some sport or meet, other cultures. But you need to find something. So that has to be part, I would say, of the move. And there might be some local people who can help. I mean, probably it's also part of your job to make that part.
Yes,
but
exactly.
I think it's a super important part, because if it doesn't go well, then, you've got the issues at work at the beginning, plus the issues in the family, plus the issues with the kids who don't speak the language. This, in a normal relocation, this should be only for a few months and everything will, settle down and will get organized. But this part of the partner can be the most tricky one and needs to be managed. It's not like we'll see.
Yes.
It needs to be managed.
Yeah, that's yeah. Thank you. That's perfect. Well, when I read your posts on LinkedIn or when I read some interviews, there is always something common, and that's the thing that you are saying that you have the sweetest job.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I really like it. I would love to say that. So, what's the sweetest part of leading teams in the Czech Republic? What do you enjoy?
Yeah, I've got the sweetest job because I'm doing, biscuits and wafers and choco wafers. So if you would see my office or the meeting rooms for us, it's biscuits everywhere. And my assistant is taking care of that every morning. I'm telling her, stop that. Don't put anything in my office.
Do you have something like really favorite, something you really, really like?
Actually, we've got so much or so many things that we are producing that I'm a bit like rotating, so I don't have one product which I like the most. But I'm quite a fan of white chocolate.
Oh.
All right. So all the products which are about white chocolate. I like very much the Oreo, but the golden version, which is the light color or the yellow color version. I've got too many, and it would be for 1 hour. And I love the Fidorka, the white chocolate Fidorka. What was the question? Yeah, the sweetest job. Working with, what is the sweetest to work with Czech people? At least in this region, I would probably say it differently if I would be working in the west of Czech Republic, but more in the eastern part. The people are, let's say that they have a kind of shield, right? So you don't have a direct access to the people, like, you don't become friends after 5 minutes, right? You can have a very nice evening, drink a lot of beers together if you want. And yes, you have a good evening. You won't be the best friend of these people the second day, right? Which could happen around Prague, probably, where the people are more international, more open. And, but here, in s.r.o, we are also in a region where it was, heavy industry, difficult life. And so people are different. People are more closed at the first access. But when you go through that shield, after might be some months, or really spending the time with those people, you can really make friends for life, right? And in the job, it's the same. You will not get the trust of the people from the first day, but you can create super relationships with the teams, create really cooperation based on trust. It might take, sometimes 6 months, sometimes 2 years, but you will really create relationships with the people at work, which are something I didn't really have in France, for example. Right? So for me, that's very important, this notion of relationship, of trust. Then what I like here, we've got very good engineers. Honestly, we've got very good universities. And general universities, but very much the technical universities. The high schools also are very good. So we've got operators who are, at least in the region of s.r.o, Opava, we've got very good technical operators, high-level operators. And this is something which is very appreciated in the industrial world, at least. I think that's one of the reasons why also we've got a lot of automotive industry in the Czech Republic, and And that's a long history, I think, about that. If you look at before the communism or, between the two world wars, Czech Republic was one of the most advanced country in terms of engineering and technical, in Europe. So, there is this culture, this mentality about technical things, about solving the things. People, even out of work, people are very much still repairing the things, and not systematically, okay, I buy a new one. And so they are still, there is still a lot of the population which is very manual, which is understanding, having a technical knowledge, really, and understanding.
People have this hobby, that's true. They are spending the time, like in their cottages, doing these things exactly as you said. They are repairing, creating something. Yeah, true.
So I appreciate that. I mean, these relationships and the technical capabilities which are behind are the things which are very helpful in my work. Yeah.
If we are speaking about this ability, which I see as very, very positive thing, like the people are able to find a lot of ways how to solve something. It has a typical opposite thing, which is that Czechs, they have a kind of like characteristic, which is that they are, especially in the international companies, if they get a task or they have something to do, which they don't really agree, and they don't want to really do that. Very often, Czechs are absolutely masters in finding ways how to do it in a way when the manager or the director or someone up them get the result or get the outcome of the work, but they are able to do it their way, their own way. Or also my experience is that they have an approach when they are saying, okay, let's wait, we will see if they mean it, like if they mean it seriously. So the managers will tell the team, okay, here is the task, let's do this, let's do that, go for it. And after 1 or 2 weeks, when it's the review, he will ask, okay, what are the outcomes? And he will find out that not a lot of things happen. Do you have similar experience? Because this is something what I hear as a feedback from the expat managers.
Yeah.
That this is something what's typical Czech or what they see as a different.
I mean, I will start by the first part when you're saying the people will do it their way, I would agree, and that's what I like. I'm trying not to say the how I want the people to do the things. So I'm trying to say the why we need that thing to be done and the what needs to be done and leave the how to the team. So the fact that they do that in their own way means that they are also learning more instead of explaining to them, okay, and on top of that, you screw it like that, or, you paint it in red. So I like the fact that they can still have this creativity on the how we will do it. But my job is more to say the why we need that and the what is needed, like defining really the target. So on that one, I would take that as a positive part. The second part, when you say, that you say something or you say you need something and they will wait and they will wait and see if I'm coming back or not. Yes, that's true. I'm not sure if it's typical Czech. I would have seen that for sure in France. If it's more in Czech, it can be, I think it's what I was saying also very much about creating that trust and that relationship. At the beginning, yes, it takes some time. And the people are testing you probably, they say, okay, does he really want that? Or he's just like nice speaker and maybe he will change his mind or he's asking to paint that in red, but next week, he will asking to paint it in yellow anyway. So let's not do the red now. Honestly, I think the people, the same as I learned about my people and I learned how to manage them, they learned also how to work with me. And they understood that, when I'm asking for something, it's clear for me that I need that thing to be done. Right. So today I don't see that anymore, but yes, at the beginning it could have been something which I felt,
You mentioned your style, how you are managing the people. If you compare, or if you can compare the style of the management which you had before in your first working experience, you mentioned that you was working Chinese, Taiwanese, and also now when you are managing a Czech team, how did you had to change it, or what were the specifics in that time and now? What are the differences?
Yeah. And the main difference with that first experience is that in that first experience, I was the customer of the Chinese company, which was managing Czech people, right? So it was like very different. I was managing my supplier or my subcontractor in a very much business relationship, right? So I needed from them that number at that cost, at
and
you know,
you
that
was
quality.
in the role of the customer,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
So
I was
different.
absolutely the customer. And I was not a leader. The only thing I was leading my 3-4 people, you know, expert from France, which were, you know, checking, and one for the supply, one for the quality, and so on. So that was very different. I would say in terms of first leadership, it's more when I joined in Carvena. So 1 year later, and there I joined really as the director of a plant of 500 people in Carvena, 500 Czech people. And there I was like, honestly, my first experience, I will give you 2 examples. My first experience was a bit shocking for a French guy. The first thing, I came to the production area, and in France I was used, you know, to go to the production area and say, okay, what can we change for you? How I can help you, or how can we improve, for example, your working position, you know? And the French people would tell you, okay, this screwdriver is very, you know, far from me, and I need it every minute. So maybe we can, you know, move it a bit. And here the corner of the working table, you know, is really a corner, so it's hurting. Can we make it round? And so they've got some ideas for improvement. And then I came to Carvena the first time, and I was asking, okay, hello, you know, and what can we do for you? How can we improve, you know, your working position? And they replied, we don't know. You are the director. And I was like, what? You know, I think it was like, I came just 15 years after the revolution, and it was still very much on this communist thing. You know, it was like, okay, you are the boss, so you decide. But no, it doesn't work like that in a plant. I mean, if you want to get something from the people, you've got 500 people, who can improve the production area, and not one director who is supposed to probably do more the reporting to the central, you know, headquarters. And that was a difficult one, which I took the time to change that culture, to put in place some improvement plans, you know, some improvement competitions, and then a second example, which was for me also like shocking at the beginning, is like the management came to my office always starting by the same sentence, which was, we have a problem. And they came to me only with problem. And for, I think, 6 months, 1 year, I was really like tired of that. I was really solving their problems. And I learned to tell them, you know, they were coming with, I have a problem, and I was answering, and do you have a solution? No, we don't have a solution. That's why we come to you. Okay. So you go back, and when you will have a solution, at least one, you come. If you've got more proposals, that's fine. But you cannot come to me with all your problems. Then, I mean, I can't anymore, you know, work, do my job, sleep, and I feel only negative, like you've got only problems. So this took a bit of time, but the management started to think that they can find solutions, that they are also just allowed to find solutions. And not anymore that, you know, the director has to solve all the problems in their life and they will just execute. It might be less true now, first of all, because we are 35 years after the communism, so it's not anymore the generations. I mean, the ones who have been working through, I mean, when was the communist part, are now retired, right? So most of that might not still exist, at least not at that level. The second thing is that now I'm working very much in, corporate international company where the culture inside the company is more the international culture than the Czech culture, right? So, but when I'm hiring some people from other Czech factories, I feel very often that, my God, they are coming from a culture which is very much different and still telling me Mr. Director, which I hate. But they still need it and they still like come to me and say, okay, how I should do that, which I'm not ready to tell them how they should do it because that should be their job. Right.
Well, perfect. Yeah, it's really interesting. And when you are describing these, I have to say you are absolutely right. You are correct. Oh, correct. I have to agree. I have to agree with you that I can always see this approach, and I have a feeling that it's still part of our culture to come and to say, I have a problem and tell me what to do.
Mhm.
You tell me. It's also a little bit, seems to me that it's a little bit like we are giving up our responsibility or giving responsibility to someone else.
Yes.
Unfortunately, and I think maybe it's part of the our history. Yeah, that's still it's here. You've mentioned one thing which was also connected with trust. That was on the beginning. You mentioned that when you were describing how you built your network and how you made your friends here in Czech. A lot of expat is asking me, okay, give me advice how to build a trust. It's super difficult. I can't reply honestly. And I think it's difficult to give someone exact advice how to build a trust. But do you have some tips what to do and how maybe how to make it easier for expats to get between the people, build the trust, even if it's not like direct advice, but maybe some guidance?
Yeah. I would have one. It's not an easy one, but I would have one is learn the language. And I'm not saying you need to be fluent, right? You might not even work in Czech, right? So for me, I mean, the 5 first years, I've not been working in Czech, because the Czech language, I mean, depends where you come from. If you come from Poland, probably Czech language might be easier. Or if you come from Ukraine or any Slavic country. Obviously, if you come from, Germany, from US, from France, from, Latin or Germanic languages, then you will have to learn a lot. For me, the fact that I learned the Czech language was to be able to build that trust, to show my effort, and then to speak to the real people. So if I take it one by one, showing the real effort is like, I have said to my team when I came to Carvena, which was my return, so my second year here, I was saying to my management of Carvena the first day during my introduction, in 1 year, I will understand you, right? Well, even I said, I think in 1 year I will speak Czech, which was a bit probably more than I was expecting. But after 1 year, I understood the people. I was not able to speak fluently and so on, but I understood what they were speaking about. And I think for the Czech people, when you learn English or when you learn a language like, I don't know, Spanish or French, because you can use that almost all over the world. Yes. It's very different than for the Czech people. They expect that there are only 10 million small country in the middle of Europe and that foreigners are not learning their language. By the way, there are very, very few, Czech teachers in Western Europe, or, you would not learn that language at school. So the Czech people are very, very much recognizing that, somebody is making an effort. It's like, he wants to be speaking to us in our language. He wants to adapt to our country. He's not only here for 2-3 months and he will leave. So showing that effort is also a way to say, I'm doing that effort. I'm also expecting from you that you will make some effort, right? It doesn't have to be on the language, but it can be on something else. So creating that level of trust for me is very much on I start and I'm showing you that, yes, I'm making an effort, but I'm expecting something also from you. And then trust is very much about, keep your words, do what you say what you do, right? So be transparent on one side, say what you do. I'm not here to hide anything. Yes, I'm the director of several of the factories and you are working, like under my leadership, but I'm telling you what I do, but I'm also doing what I say. I'm not promising something and not doing it. So those are the two first dimensions, the trust and the effort. Third one is really about being able, at least in the factories, being able to speak to the operators. I cannot live in my ivory tower in my office and not go to really work with the people. And it means also speak with the people. And the first years, that was very difficult for me when I had to go to the operators, always with either my HR manager or my production manager, so that somebody is translating on discussions which were just like, I don't know, how are you doing? How was the weekend? How is your son doing? Because I know that your son is playing football. Was he winning, yesterday? And your daughter is doing gymnastics. How was the competition? Or your mother is sick. How is she doing? If you're not able to speak those simple things, which doesn't have to be professional things, if you're not able to speak those things with your people or with your teams, it's very difficult to get, all the dimensions then of the trust. And so for me, it's like this language. And at the beginning, it was really basic things, but this language was giving me that level of connection with the people. And again, it doesn't have to be at the professional level. It took me maybe 10 years to feel that I could make the negotiations with unions in Czech. But for negotiations with unions, you will always have your HR manager here. By the way, the translation is also helping you to have more time to think. And, so it can be also a strategy on that. But it took me only 2-3 years, even not probably 2 years, to be able to go to the production and just say, Dobrý den, jak se máte, which is just like, hello, how are you?
Yeah.
And I remember the first years, when I started to speak there, I didn't understand their answer, but they were so happy that I was asking in Czech and that they could tell me something. And I was creating that relationship with a smile and, but people felt that they are somebody and that they are not only, operators hidden in production. They are just like numbers or, machines, or we say human resources, which I hate this word. We are not here to be resources of somebody or of a company. But they felt like they are human. And if you make that, then you will build the trust, I think. Yeah.
Specific part of management is also providing a feedback. And this is also quite common, what I hear, that people, especially expats, they don't know, or maybe they know, but they do it in their way. So what's your experience, or how did you do that to provide a feedback to Czech team? This is also something what I have a lot of questions, like, how I should tell them that I don't like it. Or the other thing is that the managers are describing, I did it this way and it did not work really. So what's your experience about providing feedback?
The first thing about providing the feedback is that you will never be perfect. In whatever, if you work in your own country with people with your language, or if you work, abroad, giving feedback, it's like one of the most difficult things in terms of human, in terms of not only finding the nuances in the language, and I can come back to that, but it's also having the feeling of what the person is receiving. Giving a feedback is fine. You give it as you feel it yourself. but that's not probably what the person is expecting,
yes.
right? And you might say it in very nice words and in giving perfect examples. Anyway, it's received completely differently. So giving feedback is always a very difficult thing. Now, giving feedback in a different language is even more difficult because you don't have the right nuances. Even if you would do it in English with your team, it can be a Czech team, you can be, I don't know, German, American, French, and you give feedback in a different language. So it's even more difficult because you don't have the full vocabulary. You can say only black and white, and you have difficulties to find all the nuances of the gray in the middle, right? So that's adding a different, or adding an additional, difficulty in giving the feedback. Now, for me as a French, Czech people are receiving the feedback. Czech people, for example, are less expressive than Latin people, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
If you give the feedback to a French person, a Spanish, an Italian, you will see on their face how they receive it, right? So you will see a smile or not a smile at all. And Czech people will be less expressive, like on the face, and you will have less of the body language telling you how they receive it. And for us as Latin people, it's less easy because we are used to see that body language, right? We are used to read it and to understand how the person, and we need that for being our way of giving feedback to have this, I'm giving you something, but you are answering to me, even sometimes even without speaking, right? You don't have that much with Czech people. It would be more like, I would not say poker face, but less expressive than the Latin people. And I don't know, maybe it would be easier for German people to give to Czech people because German people would be okay. I don't know. I cannot.
I heard it's not easier. It's not.
Good. I cannot tell you.
said it's not easier.
But at least for me and my experience is like, I had to learn. I had to understand what the people or how the people were receiving that. I had to take the time to also to ask the people their feedback on my feedback, and mainly on the how they received it. What was your feeling, Yana? When I was giving you the feedback, how your body receives that? Is it like creating some fear? Is it creating some joy? Is it so? Yeah, giving the feedback is something which is very difficult. Definitely.
Yeah. It's difficult discipline. That's true. You already couple of times mentioned that you started to work like nearly 20 years ago, and you mentioned also that this time was quite different from the time when you are working now in the companies. But in your opinion, would work here in the Czech Republic better than in a more developed market? I mean, unfortunately, I would say that the communism affected us somehow. And you have also the experience from France. You have experience with work with Taiwanese people. So can you compare what's working here, say less or better, in comparison in this market?
I mean, first of all, I don't know what are more developed markets than the Czech market, because honestly, if you look at...
We sometimes feel, like we Czech sometimes feel that there are countries who are on higher level.
And that's wrong.
Yeah?
That's absolutely wrong. I mean, if I take at least my area, the one I know the most, which is the industry. In terms of industry or industrialization, today I would say, Czech, probably Germany, and maybe Poland are the most advanced countries in Europe, right? France is completely over, it's finished. They have, all the industry is going, or has been moving somewhere else. Spain is not better at that. Portugal is finished. So, most developed markets, we have sometimes a tendency in Czechia to think that the Western Europe is better than we are.
Yes.
when we start to look at the realities, it's not that true, right? So now what is better? Question was what is better here?
Yeah.
Or I think that we are not here yet in terms of mentality of continuous improvement. So that's something that we need to work on. France has been very good on that, right? If I'm going to France in one of our factories, and we've got 9 factories there, they will focus on how to become efficient. In Czech, we more focus on how to get the job done, right? So my job is done. That's fine, right? Where what I'm trying to put in the culture is like, your job is not done if you have not improved it today, right? And if it will not be more efficient tomorrow, which is a different mentality, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't have that much, probably because of communism, where there was nothing about productivity, and where the boss wanted only to have the job done, and that's it. But what we have better here, I think it's the at least for the last 20 years, I've seen an acceleration in terms of dynamism. People start to want more, right? People in Czech start to ask themselves the question, okay, how I can increase, how I can improve myself, how I can grow in the company, which was not that much true years ago, Yeah, I remember taking some, I don't know, super planner, my best planner, and saying, okay, I would like to make you a manager. And he was saying, why? Which in France, the person would be like, why you are not putting me as a manager? And here the person was like, why you want to make me a manager? So, but that's now not anymore true, or not that much at least. And I feel, this kind of emulsion which is coming, like young people want more to be, to become somebody, or to become, more. It doesn't have to be manager. It can be a specialist. It can be an engineer. It can be, but they want to have an increase. They want to have a better life. They want to show also to their parents that, they can have a better life than their parents had at that time. And I think that will give us a lot of opportunities in the industry in the coming years. And that movement, I don't know how it will be with them. I mean, we speak a lot about Gen Z and the next one.
Who knows this?
We start to have. I mean, I've got already. I think Gen Z is already 13% of our employees in the factory. So we start to have some feelings, but yeah, I'm not sure I've been exactly answering to your question.
But it seems very interesting.
Okay, sorry.
When you was talking now, pop up in my mind one thing. One manager I've been thinking about this similar topic. He told me, I was surprised when I came. I was surprised about the distribution of life balance in Czech culture. And I asked, what do you mean exactly? And she said, I'm surprised how Czech that the portion of the time is more on the side of after work time. Do you have also this feeling, if you just see people around you, see the environment, the culture, do you have also feeling that the more important part is, let's say, after work?
I mean, yes, there are some people like that, and there are some people who are, I would say, it depends a lot on how much you love your work, and what are your priorities in life. For an operator who is working 40 hours in the factory, I'm not expecting that he's saying, okay, and I would like to work another 40 and I will do 80 this week. And, even if the salaries have been increasing a lot, I think they've been more than doubling since the time I'm here. Still, making some potatoes in the garden might be important, or going fishing is just like, my hobby, and working, in front of the machine is not the most exciting thing in my life, but I need to have a job. on the other side, you will have, all the people who are in marketing or who are even, my management team who love their work because they can really have a kind of non-routine job, a lot of creativity, a lot of things with the people who would probably not even count their hours and they will work on that. So where is exactly the cursor, between what is the right balance? I don't know. I think the right balance is more like do what you like the most and use the most of time in your life. Now, if I compare also with France, honestly, in France, you work 35 hours, right?
Yes.
Here you work 40.
40.
So you've got already 5 more hours, that you need to be at work. So being or saying that we want to be more, after work doing something else, yes, but we are, more time at work also. So where's the balance exactly? I don't know. I mean, it depends. I don't know where was your, client from or where she was or what she was comparing with. I see everything, I've been also working for 2 years out of the big corporate and more on social projects. And I was very much in the middle, or I was also mentoring some startups at that time. And I saw people who were completely crazy with work and people who were like taking all the time, 2 hours, 3 hours for lunch, and always having nice discussions at the pub already or in the cafe at 3:00 in the afternoon. I was saying like, what is their life, what they are doing. And that's all fine as far as you like what you do and you spend the right time doing those things. So.
Yeah, I would agree. But it's just, I don't see it as a foreigner. But I would definitely agree with you that it's more about the personality people than the nationality. But that's what. But I can't see it as a foreigner, so I don't have the comparison really. Sure. Yeah. Well, one of my last questions. What is or what do you say would be, let's say, invisible at first glance about Czech employees, but let's say it's essential for long-term relationships or long-term leadership? What you can't see really on the first side, but it's a key thing for the future.
Gosh, that's a question. I think the willingness to do the things well, at the first glance, you probably could say, okay, people are doing that and that's it. And that's just their job. But I think what we have here, at least in my team, is like the people who want to do the things well. They don't always know the how to do it well at the first time, but their willingness to do it well is there, right? So if you are able to uncover that, and give them the right resources, which can be, financial investments or the time or the experts who can explain to them, if you give them the resources to do the things well, they have that inside themselves that they want to do the things well. And they are not like people who just,
do it.
Yeah, I will do it and I will, and I'm going to something else. They really have that inside. So give them the right resources, help them to do the things well, and you will really get things well done. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, I have to really say big thank you for your time, especially today because it's in weekends. And it's the time when you can spend it with your family. So really thank you for your time. I really value it.
More than welcome. And don't hesitate to come to Czech Republic. Nice country. I love these people here. We are doing a great job here. There are a lot of opportunities. So take your time, make the relocation correctly, because that's a very important thing. Maybe see you in Czech Republic soon.
Oh, fantastic. That's the perfect sentence at the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you.